I'm Rajiv Tandon, a dear friend of today's most important person, Radhika, the author of this book, Easy to Be You. On behalf of Radhika, I'd at the outset like to welcome each and every one of you to today's event. It's a very special event, a very interesting, thought-provoking, stimulating and possibly visionary book has come out, and we have the author of that book with us. We have eminent celebrities. It's few times that you have such eminent celebrities come together to provide their voice, to provide their vision and guidance to a book. And then we have each one of you who's joined us today evening. So at the outset, if I could be given the permission to invite the chief guests on the dais, so if Radhika could please chaperone, Shobna ji, Victor Banerjee, Gautam Gambhir, Ruchika Motwani, and Radhika, of course, herself.
Thank you, Rajiv. That was a lovely, warm introduction. I wouldn't have done a better job myself. Thank you, all of you, for being here. This is a priceless moment. And the reason I say that is this book was created as a useful tool to trigger a change to better the world, to better humanity. And with all of us with extensive portfolios, with iconic journeys, we are sitting here making an impactful association with the book. And we're doing that with a willingness to question our intent and purpose of being easy. So this book already meets its potential, because what's going on is when you go within yourself to question your intent and purpose of being, when you want to unlock the chaos, you are setting free the energy, you are letting go of judgment, and you are then creating a society which is no longer reticent. It is willing to embrace thought, and it's willing to embrace emotion, and that is exponentially. If this kind of reflection could happen exponentially, this could go, to many other places. So I believe this is beautiful because we are already triggering a shift, and the shift is taking place right now. I don't believe we could have a better, more present moment than to acknowledge the fact that within this time and place, if this is possible, then we can look to create a society which is looking to empower itself and better itself. So thank you, all of you, for making this absolutely amazing, impactful association with me and giving this opportunity to me. I'm very, very humbled and very, very honored.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Radhika on this book. I just loved going through it. I first thought, looking at this Unlock the Chaos to Find Your True Potential, it will be something, I don't know whether you can hear me, but anyway, now I think. I don't know what I was wanting to expect or was expecting to expect, but when I started reading, I just loved it. And I particularly was intrigued by the fact, the way you have even delved into questions of how you can explore possibilities and using mythology. And because in our days and times, we look upon mythology as something which is something not to be revisited. But personally, as a classical dancer, I find that we need to revisit our mythology, because through that you have imageries, but through that you unlock so much knowledge about your own existence and about the surrounding environment. And therefore I was really happy to read it. And then there was another piece that you wrote about to integrate symbolism. Now, as a classical dancer, we are just performing on symbolisms. And so I love these two chapters of yours. Of course, there are many other chapters that I loved, but I'm just talking about these two. And I'll just take off from there. When she was talking about rasa, she was talking about, and you was asking whether people are wanting love, do they know? Actually, when I think of it, the moment some way or the other, each person, each human being, each being, let me put it, human or otherwise, each being is actually wanting love and is seeking love. And in that pursuit, I mean, of course, there are so many different experiences that comes his way.
I started the foundation because I always wanted to be in the army. That still remains my first love. And I know I became a cricketer, and it is purely because of destiny, because I remember that had I not played Ranji Trophy in 12th, I would have definitely gone into India, because that was my first love and it still remains my first love. So when I got into cricket, and that still remains my only regret in life, that I couldn't join the army. So I decided that, okay, the best thing I can do is, how do I contribute in, which has always been my first love, was to start the foundation and look after the family of, which I don't like talking too much about, but yes, you've asked me this question, to look after the children of all the martyrs, and we are sponsoring 50 children right now, and we've got to increase the number to 100. I want to do things very silently, but then the thing is we want to increase and look after the foundation. It gives me a lot of happiness as well, because that is something which has always been my first love, so I was able to contribute in my little capacity into something which I've always loved.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because the way we live our lives are mimicked, and our lives are looked at as examples of things that we do to enhance and better society, and you're doing that. So one of the things that people are going to be able to absorb is not Gautam Gambhir as a cricketer, but somebody who has the essence of being a human beyond his call of duty.
That is what you need to decide as well. What do you want to achieve out of your own life? A lot of people would say that I want to achieve these many records, these many runs in my profession, what I look to, and I've never believed in all that, because when I was growing up, all I had that one dream obviously to, if I decide to get into cricket, was to try and be part of the World Cup winning team, which I was able to. I was very fortunate to be part of 2 World Cup winning teams, but never thought of scoring 10,000 runs, playing 100 test matches, because that has never been my dream. Had I had that dream in my childhood, probably I would have done that as well. So I always wanted to say that the day people will call me Gautam Gambhir, will respect me, Gautam Gambhir, a human, as compared to Gautam Gambhir, a cricketer, I think I've achieved everything in my life.
I think
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that you have to trigger both sides of the children's brains, and you engage them in art activities, and you will trigger. What you're doing is you are actually, through my platforms, what I do is actually I have them emote, portray their thoughts, feelings and emotions. And this is what you're talking about really, that when you have a child de-stress, because today's environment is not the environment that we were brought up in. It's de-stressed, they're confused, there are a lot of issues with kids today, they're competitive, and I find, and I work with the lowest of the low, as Victor does as well. I've worked with over 1 lakh of children over my last 10 years. And the privileged and the underprivileged. It's just when you strengthen their mind through just giving them empowering message of there is no wrong in art. You're always right in what you're portraying. You're always you. Whatever you say has to be the correct thing. When you tell a child that and empower the child, you've done the right thing, you've centered the child, and then he's able to go forward, whether it's sports, whether it's academics, you have triggered the child and he's on a really great journey. And I think that's what, a book, I mean, we can take learnings from this book and take it forward.